Animals in life. Although she has moved dozens of times in her life, she has nearly always had a pet. She found one of her most memorable pets while student teaching and will share the story with us today. Please welcome world traveler, teacher, and author, Lily Fouts.
Every year, I look forward to winter being over with. It feels great to go out in springtime and see life and color coming back to the brown tree branches and to smell the sweet scent of the blossoms poking up out of the ground and the earthy scent of the fields as they're being tilled, and to listen to the sound of the birds as they fly through the air, collecting little bits and pieces for their nests and bugs for their little hatchlings. So, I wonder if you've ever been out on a spring walk, and have you ever found a little baby bird while out walking? That's exactly what happened to me back during my student teaching years. I was out walking with a friend. We're walking together along the edge of a field, and we look down, and we see this pathetic little pink blob on the ground. It has this huge yellow beak, and it's wide open yellow beak, and it's just wiggling helplessly there on the ground. Well, I was an avid bird hobbyist at the time. I had a bunch of finches and canaries in my home, and so I decided, this was something that I had a little bit of experience with. I picked up the bird and looked up, and there was a bluebird box on the tree trunk. So as I examined this, I realized a family of starlings had stolen this bluebird box. What I should have done is put the little hatchling back in the nest. That's what you're supposed to do when you find a baby bird in the wild. However, I knew it was a starling. Starlings are not protected by laws like most other birds are. I also had been told that starlings are very smart. So they mimic the sounds in their environment. Sometimes they can even be taught to talk. I was just absolutely in love with this little baby. I mean, how can you be smitten by that? Isn't that cute? So I thought, I'm going to bring this baby home. So I took it home, I named her Stella, and I started to feed her constantly, because that's what parent birds do. I wanted to be a good mama starling. Parents feed their babies. They fly out, they pick up a bug, they bring it back, they stick it in their baby bird's gaping beaks, they fly out and they get another one and they bring it back. That's what they do. So I was going to be a good mama starling. Every half hour I was feeding that little baby. So at the time, I was student teaching. So I had no choice but to bring this little bird into the classroom with me, because you can't just leave a bird all day, it will starve to death. So I brought this baby into the classroom with me. Unfortunately, the master teacher wasn't as excited about Stella as I was. But oh well. So, Stella grew very fast. Within just a day, she had little pin feather stubs. It seemed to me like she doubled in size every day. She just grew so fast. By the end of the week, she had soft chest feathers and little wing feathers, and she was starting to develop. She started to take the shape of a normal bird instead of looking like a blob. By the end of 2 weeks, she pretty much fully feathered out. They grow so fast. So Stella went everywhere with me. I love the outdoors, so once summer vacation came along, she went camping and hiking and canoeing with me. Everywhere I went, Stella went with me. She usually rode on my shoulder. And one time, I was in a park, I was walking along, and Stella was on my shoulder, and I was just walking along like normal, and everybody's staring at me because it's really weird to see somebody walking with a wild bird. And this one little boy came up, and he touched my hand, and he said, "Did you know you had a baby?" Well, Stella was my constant companion for several months. She went everywhere, she did everything with me. But as she got older, she got more independent. She started to fly away for longer. She would always come when I called her, but she started to fly away more and more, and sometimes she took a little bit longer to come back, became more independent. And like all birds do, eventually she decided it was time to fly away and go live on her own. I was very sad when she left because I had become very attached to her. She was very close to me. She had been everywhere with me. And the first few days seemed really weird that she wasn't there anymore. So I was very sad, but down in my heart, I knew she's a wild bird. She belongs in the wild. That's where she's supposed to be. So after Stella flew away, my friend John, the one that had been out in the field with me when we found her, he and I talked and we decided that we would make a book about Stella. So here's John with Stella. John decided he was going to be the illustrator of the book, and I would write the book. Very nicely, he drew the pencil drawings for the book. And as you'll notice, if you look at the date, 2001, that was a long time ago. That's 14 years ago. He kept asking me, Lily, when are you going to write the book? I'm so embarrassed that it took me so long to write this book. But finally, I wrote it, and it has come to fruition. Hey. So I'm happy to announce that this book is now out. Just came out in print last week. So it's fresh off the press, and it's designed for elementary school children, but I think any person who loves birds would enjoy this story. In addition to, this is an educational book. In addition to the story of Stella, this has a vocabulary section. It has discussion questions where kids can talk about invasive species, which starlings are, which is why they're not protected. It has a section on what to do if you find a baby bird, and no, I don't recommend you take the bird back. You are supposed to put the bird back in the nest. So that's what this book is about. And springtime is here again. Springtime is on its way. It's just around the corner. I would like to ask your favors in helping me spread the word about this book. I'm going to pass out a card to everybody in the room. And if you know somebody who has an elementary age school child, or a teacher, or somebody who just loves birds, could you pass on the card for me and let them know? This is a great time of year to get kids ready for that spring day when they go for a walk and they find a baby bird. Thank you.